Member Brown, Member Childs, Member Jackson.
Here.
Member Smith,
Here.
Chair Frazier.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Comments from guests?
My name is Ron Jolson. Myself and my wife have formed the Discover Crystal Springs Cemetery group, and we talked to the group last February and to give you an idea what we were doing. And this is the day report over the last 2 months. We spent 84 and a half hours working down the ravine, and 10 hours was at home doing paperwork and stuff, supporting it. We had 6 different people working with us in the ravine during that time period. And we collected 6.5 bags of trash over the last 2 months, plus one, somebody deposited a toaster oven on one of the benches over by the Yore Memorial Firemen. And we picked that up and we've got rid of that. We started a Facebook page on February 7th, and since that time, we've had 43 people sign up as members. And we've had, in the last 30 days, we had 207 people hitting their Facebook page, looking and showing interest in that. The last time February said our main area we're going to concentrate on was the area between the 2 bridges, the main bridge connecting the north to south section cemetery, and there's a decorative bridge down the ravine. We've been working on that for the last 2 months, and we're trying to get the brush removed below the Angel, and she's located in the north wall of the ravine. And we've removed all the invasive species at the level where the Angel is. There's 2 terraces below her, and we've cleared 80% of all the invasives. Species, multiflora rose is primarily most of the problem there. And when we cut these, we also paint them with a herbicide. By painting them, the herbicide is absorbed down in the roots and kills the plant from the roots all the way up. There's also 3 more terraces below the Angel, and we've worked and removed 60% of those. So we're pretty much getting the bottom of the ravine between the 2 bridges pretty much cleaned out. The island where the Lady in the Cross is, we've got rid of 80% of invasives down there, but we've yet to paint those. We have to do that yet. In the area south of the Lady in the Cross, we removed all the invasive species in that section. So we're looking at the ravine between the 2 bridges. We're probably, I guess right now, 75% have got that under control and cut. We still have some volunteer trees we have to cut down. And we want to do that because they're both volunteer trees. They're trees that have just shown up naturally, but they're invasive. And they are destroying the terracing, the rock terracing. So we want to get rid of those. Some other things done in a short period of time. We put colored sign up. We have colored flags throughout the ravine area to indicate problems or improvements. Yellow flags that note that there's a hole in the ground so somebody doesn't step in it and break a leg or something. And we have red, blue, and green flags for other purposes. We posted signs up there what these colors mean. So if people come down there, they're notified that there are things to be aware of. We had the Tuesday, 6th March, when the heavy winds came through, we had a big, large section of a tree, 30 inches in diameter, fall down and block access to the north road at the bottom of the ravine, the Morningside Drive. And since that, 2 weeks ago, we got a couple of volunteers in with chainsaws, and we've got that removed. So now we have that access open backed up. We set up the West Cave. We set up so we have tools in there, small hand tools, so we don't have to carry it up to our cars and back down. And we're hopefully that nobody goes in and raids the place. It's not locked or anything. We've had no problems since. The area between the decorative bridge down at the bottom and the culvert, which directs water from one section to the other, we completely removed the invasive species between those two sections. And so that's clean up. Right now, we've got a lot of flowers in bloom. We got skunk cabbage, daffodils, swamp marigolds, and forsythia and myrtle in blossom right now. So that's kind of pretty. Our projection for the next month or so is continue working on that area between the two bridges, and then start working our way down the Morningside Drive on the north side of the ravine, going down to the west end. And again, if you're very interested, you want to come down, give us a call. This week we'll be down there Saturday and the following Monday from 1 until 3 working.
Saturday is 1 to 3 as well.
This coming Saturday, 1 to 3, and then the following Monday, 1 to 3.
I'll be there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any more comments from guests?
Okay.
Any written complaints? Approval of meeting minutes from February the 13th, 2024. I move to approve the minutes from February 13th, 2004.
I'll second.
Motion by Frazier, second by Jackson. Member Jackson,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
Chair Frazier.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Old business, update on cemetery property / ground repairs. And we can only get that
I'm
from,
not sure what Mr. Little's gonna report on. We can skip ahead to the new business if you want. Come back, give him a little more time.
okay, sounds good. Transfer of funds for burials.
From February 13th through March 26th, they have an amount of $33,265.
$33,265.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to transfer those funds.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Frazier, second by Jackson. Member Smith,
Yes.
Member Jackson,
Yes.
Chair Frazier.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Do we have a timeline on?
He didn't say how long it would be.
Any comments from the board while we're waiting on Mr. Little to come in?
Yes. I joined this board to make a difference in this cemetery. It's been a chaos for a long time. And I feel like I has. Last meeting, which I was not attend, I don't know nothing about it. It was at 1 o'clock like the one is today. My understanding is that Ms. Frazier made this change as she did before for her convenience. The rest of the board members went on and agreed. But it became a problem, I guess. I didn't attend it because I don't know nothing about it, and my name came up in a bad way, like I'm missing a lot of meetings. Well, I'll tell you this, that I miss my meetings because the rest of the board members does not show up. I done been here several times, only by myself. Then I was, comment mentioned remove me. Well, all three of the board members that we had here, and not talking about the new board member, had nothing to do with her. That's kind of bad when you all don't make meetings yourselves. We got board members missing now for some reason or another. There's got to be something in place, and I know it's something in place in the charter stating about missing consecutive board members to be removed unexcused. If that was in effect right now and it was carried out, would nobody be on this board, probably but me. But however, I have a lot of interest in this cemetery. That's why I'm here. I goes out to the cemetery on a periodic basis, consistent basis, to talk with George. And I listen to the complaints, seeing what's going on. George got a hard job. I haven't been out there watching graves being dug. I've been out on them grounds seeing unlawful dumping. It got stopped because of me. Now, the grass cutting, I've seen how bad it is. Jack is not doing a good job. I don't know who will say that. That's terrible. This city manager we had before, we all asked him, and we can't get nothing done for some reason. No trash cans out there. I've been asking for that from day one. No trash cans. They need it. Because what they would do is throw their trash bags on the ground or in the bushes. That's not good. And then when the coons or whatever eat it, and all of a sudden the wind blows it back on these graves. I also mentioned about the graffiti. That's terrible. That needs to be done and established this year. Even if I have to go and volunteer and help whoever out in the graveyard to remove it, I will help remove this stuff. This is bad out there. This is not a place for a circus, it's a place for the dead. And it's supposed to look beautiful like it used to be years ago. There's a few things that can be done with this board. You can take it to the people and vote this board out of the charter. That's the only way it's gonna happen to get it out. Or we can be advisors. Somewhat down the line, and we can get some new members. I suggest if you don't have the best of interest, you need to resign off this board. Because I have been out there. Even when you don't know I'm out there, I'm out there. And if you're gonna change meetings and times, you need to let everybody know. Now, the new board member that came aboard, there was some questions about her. I didn't know nothing about it, that's all. Don't have to know nothing about it. She's here now, and I'm pretty sure and hope that she have a best interest in this board. That was absurd for someone to say something. It seemed like to me, these board members, all you want to come and do is really make a name for yourself or prove something, and you're really not into it. If you are into it, you need help, George and Bert. We have residents out here that comes and volunteer. I see the progress, but I'm gonna go down there myself and help this time. I'm really gonna help them Saturday. I don't have a lot going on. I run my own business, so I can go down there. We're having too many complaints. Too many. When I go out there, someone says it's a familiar face. Jackson, you're the only one showing up. Well, I hope the rest of them show up and ask and try to help you. I don't help people find their grave, their loved ones. And it is hard. I came out, made copies of the map that George has. He can tell you that. And it helped, it's very helpful. By me looking at that map, I went back and found a few graves. Fortunately, everybody that I have out there, we know where they're at. A lot of those graves out there don't have markers. My father don't have his yet, but we know where he at. And I had to explain to my mother how it operates, so she get ready to get that marker. It's sad that somebody is buried out there and in the wrong spot, not because Bert, and George, did something wrong. That's terrible. By Mr. Little coming on board, I'm pretty sure that we are going to organize, get some stuff together. I used to work for the man. He's really upfront for what he wanted to get done, but he needs people that's going to do it. I don't get paid a dime up here, no board member does. This is strictly volunteer. Born and raised and used to play in the graveyard since I was 7 years old. Oh, I see some bad things going on that need to be straightened out. I'm doing all I can as a board member to help George now and the citizens that come forth. I'm hoping that the rest of you all will join in and do so. It's not a personal thing. This is something you want to do. I'm just a little disgusted with how people treat one another. You know, it's kind of upsetting a little bit to hear these kind of things. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Okay, so I just want to address you specifically, Mr. Jackson. First of all, we've all been on the grass cutting tip as far as him not doing a very good job. To the point where we got a copy of the original and it has not been updated in a couple years contract. So that's been on the forefront, and we've seriously been talking about that and trying to get it to the point where, so we know now that they are doing bidding, people can bid for that. So Mr. Jack is not the only one that have privy to cutting the grass. Secondly, as far as the board meeting communication, there is an email that goes out. I don't know if you're getting your emails, but your email address is on there. And if you're not checking your email regularly, then I don't know what else to say. Maybe you need to check it regularly, but that's how we communicate. I've emailed myself to you and no communication returned back. So I don't know if your email address is incorrect, but that's how we communicate. Board member, did you get an email for today's meeting? Smith? Okay. Board member Jackson, did you get an email today?
I got it from clerk.
Okay, so that's how we communicate. As far as the, you hadn't been here for like 2 meetings in a row. So, and not responding to any emails, and I'm like, okay, and I emailed you myself to see what's going on, or are you gonna continue to be a part of the board or what? Also, during one of the meetings, I wanna say 2 meetings ago, we voted to move the meeting back to 1 o'clock. And not just for my convenience, but the other board members agreed that it was better for them. And then I was also informed at that time that you were retired. So, and that was initially why we moved it to 4 o'clock, because you were still working. So once again, communication through email. Nothing is being done under the table, not when it comes to this board, not if I'm in charge. So with that being said, complaints, any written complaints, I get them. We haven't had any. I've had some phone calls from citizens who've had, issues with things that's going on at the cemetery. I address them and I report back to the board during the meetings. Now, I haven't gotten any, the last time I did receive some was back in December. Other than that, I haven't received any. But if you need my phone number, we can talk further. It's nothing. I don't have anything to hide, but yeah, that time was voted on. And I don't know why you weren't here the last 2 previous board meetings. I don't know. There was no communication, none whatsoever. Now, however, I did know Member Brown wasn't gonna be here, and Tiffany did let me know that Member Childs wasn't gonna be here. Other than that, we never knew that you weren't gonna be here. The last board meeting that was here, and then the one before that. And as far as who's able to do what we're doing, if you wanna know that, as far as board members, we're supposed to be working together, not against each other. So I've had several meetings with Mitchell. I've also talked to Mr. Little. So I'm doing what I'm appointed to do. Now, if you have more time to go down there, then please do. Somebody needs to. We all can't do the same thing. We all have to have strengths on this board, so we come together. It's like a hand, or a body rather. Everybody has their part. And you seem to be more of the one that can go down and be right there on the front line. Now, I've taken trips down there, but as far as being able to go down there and do other things, no, I haven't been able to do that. As far as volunteers, I appreciate the volunteers, I do. Thank you for what you've done and continue to do. And again, if there's anything else that we can do to support, please let us know. And I'll personally give you my number. I not hide behind no title, but I'm here for a purpose. And I don't know if you've been sitting in the rest of these board meetings, but I get really frustrated to the point where I've also said, I'm tired of going over the same, we're doing the same thing and nothing was moving. So, but anytime you need to talk to me, I'll give you my number. Please don't hesitate. But as far as this board goes, meetings and communications is all through email, So you may want to check back through your email, but it's all through email. As a matter of fact, I did email Tiffany earlier this morning because we normally get a reminder the day before. She let me know she was doing it when she got to work today. She had been out sick. So I'm not here you just don't see me on board days and I'm just not doing nothing. No, I'm doing stuff besides that day. So I'm done. Can you check to see if Mr. Little's available? Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who's over the Morton Cemetery? Do someone attend that?
I know we do. It's
I know we attend, but I'm trying to do someone go out there to check to make sure the grounds and stuff is clean.
we do. We're supposed to have a person that does that and
With Crystal.
yes, but it's two different
I know.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And that's been an issue, just in not being taken care of properly and what we paying for. So, and we did get to the bottom of, I would say about 2 months ago, that it's bidded on and when the bidding will start and where it'd be located for other people to bid. So.
Yeah, so I'm saying, the only email I don't be receiving is Tiffany. That was the only information I get. I don't have none of your emails. So it's not even on my phone. So I don't know, maybe you got the wrong email, I don't know.
The email, but please write it down for me, because the email that I have is the email that's in with Tiffany's. So,
I never received one of your emails.
yeah, I've emailed you not once but twice.
Good afternoon.
You know, Mr. Little.
Apologies for being a few minutes late and big issue going on in a development project that I had to take the call on first.
Okay, well, Mr. Little, we're waiting on you, so, update on cemetery property / ground repairs.
Could you expand a little bit more on that one?
So, I know we do have a volunteer, some volunteers, and their paperwork should have been out there, their agenda. So they have been doing some volunteer things to the cemetery, and it's all nicely written out. But there was some things that, like the office building has some leaks and those type of things that needs to be repaired, some ground repairs. The cemetery is really just not in very good shape. And we've actually been going over and over and over this, so we were expecting an update or asking for an update.
Well, at this point, to be very honest with you, I don't have much of an update. I'll tell you where things in general are. The current situation is that everything that is spent at the cemetery is having to come out of the general fund, just like the situation we've got with the water plant. General fund is not in the best of shape. We're gonna continue trying to do what we can to try to provide support and hopefully not let it get any worse than what it is. But right now, number one item we have to address is preparation for grass cutting. Because with the weather as it has been, grass is coming up fast. And the city doesn't have the kind of money it spent last year. It didn't have it then, but certainly doesn't have it now.
So is it not in the budget?
No, it's not in the budget.
Okay.
And if it were, there's just no revenue to cover it. Excuse me. So you better understand exactly what the budget situation is. City was having a challenge after what we went through with emergency managers and stuff, dealing with the budget just for the normal operations, police department, public works, that kind of thing. After the emergency manager and the termination of the water contracts, that 12 million gallon a day water plant out there that was pumping up to 8 million gallons when we were providing water to the townships on this side as well as us, is now pumping 1 million. The overhead cost for that plant is still what it was when we were pumping 8 million, but the revenue's not there. In order, the commission has made the decision it wants to hold on to its water plant, which I think is a sensible and good decision. But in doing so, the shortfall that occurs every month has come out of the general fund. Basically, you've got the same situation with the cemetery. After the emergency manager shut off your revenues that should have been coming in to help address everything that needed to be done there, from the burials themselves to the maintenance of the lawns and everything else. That's coming out of the general fund. General fund spent something like $150,000 last year just for grass cutting out there, which there's no way to budget for it. They don't have that money. Same kind of thing was going on elsewhere with grass cutting and so forth, because it just didn't have it. Now that we've gone through an extended period with money that we did have in ARPA, and that's been pretty much used up, city's finding itself in a tight situation. So we're going to do the best we can, with priority being first on trying to keep the grass cut, limbs and things picked up where they're falling out of trees and whatnot, and keep the appearance of the facility as it should be. I'm thinking of trying to have some discussions with you all and possibly with city management to start trying to move towards some situation that will hopefully start to return some of the revenues back to the cemetery board to address its operations. Because quite frankly, I'd love to get in a position to get the board back where it can handle the cemetery without it being out of the general fund. It was never intended to come out of the general fund. I mean, for years, going all the way back to way before I came here in '84. The cemetery basically balanced itself and took care of whatever it needed out there. But it's the cities, and we want to see it maintained. We want to try and get out of the hole that we're in with it. And we're going to be asking you to work closely with us to try and help accomplish that as best we can. But like all of this stuff, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. And we're just going to work with you as closely as we can and do everything that we can to try and get us to where we need to be. Because ultimately, I think our priority concern is going to have to be on our customers and people who want to use the cemetery, people whose families are there and that kind of thing. Now, I had a discussion this past week with George and Bert, and we were talking about some of the issues and so forth that exist there, like locating bodies. We had the situation come up with a couple of families that we're trying to address, but we want to try to get in a position and help you get in a position where we don't have, hopefully, many more of those, but we realize the potential is there. And that's something that can be very distressing for a family, and we'd like to try to get in a position to try to avoid some of that. But that's about the best that I can really say, because anything more is just repeating it in one fashion or another.
Right. So just to even have some type of small victory, even small things such as, but can be big things, like the notification to families for the things that they put on the graves that are not okay. So I know we were getting close to that. I don't know where we are with that right now. And there was something, so just to be able to get that out and about, because we do have Mother's Day and Memorial Day, so the weather's about to get warm. The decorations are going to be more. So just to get it out prior, how soon can we get those things out and accomplished?
Do you have something put together there?
Yeah, so this is what we were given in,
And you might check with Rona, because I think she may have been helping Mr. Mitchell.
yeah, so if we can get this going like within the next, if possible, before Mother's Day,
Okay.
that would be awesome. That'll be at least a small victory moving in a positive direction, and Board Member Smith is gonna need a copy too.
I got one
You got one?
that Tiffany sent it to me in
Okay.
an email.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
I
Can I
sent
make one comment?
Yes,
When the old one was fine, I did mention to Mr. Mitchell, a couple months ago when I was talking with him, you need to add grave blankets to just, don't allow grave blankets on the cemetery. Because they cover the full grave. So if you're coming down with a 6-foot mower, if you drive over it, then the person's gonna be coming here complaining, you ruined my grave blanket I spent all this money for. And if you don't go over it, you can't mow the neighbor's graves. So they need to be just disallowed on the cemetery, because they are starting to put those out.
yes,
I'd say that.
yeah, I kind of figured, and it's gonna increase because the weather's getting nicer, and those holidays are coming up. So, so yes, if we can get that done, that'll be a victory that we've been trying to push forward. And then too, just to see also, I know your hands are full.
Let me ask, what was the plan on getting that out?
So the plan was, so we were to review what was previously done, which we're all okay with. Member Jackson, did you receive a packet with the decorations and all that in it?
No.
Okay, So if you can get Member Jackson on. And, so what we wanted to do was get these notices out to the cemetery, both of them,
Okay.
as soon as possible.
And when you say out to the cemetery,
So, I suggested to do like some signs for entry, because people are gonna quicker see those signs than anything. I know that they did say there's a packet that's given, when families are doing the business of burying their loved ones. And then there's also a notice on the door. But I wanna say, I believe we all agree that, 9 times out of 10, the people that are decorating these graves are not the people that take care of the business. So if we can get something visible throughout the cemetery.
Okay.
And I know we also mentioned, I wrote it down. Putting it in Bitten Spirit, the Herald Palladium, and on the city's website as well. Because we know people are online before they pick up a newspaper.
Also, you should include the Facebook page too.
Yeah.
the city doesn't really have a Facebook page.
No, I'm talking about they got a cemetery Facebook
Oh, you
page.
do? Okay. That would be a good idea to put it on there.
So just, getting that moving as quickly as possible. And then last but not least, we were talking about, cemetery personnel, for at least starting out in the office. So if we can revisit that, I would say next meeting, and see where we are on that.
We also need those trash cans. That will stop a lot of littering out in the graveyard.
Okay.
I have a question. So the funds that the cemetery get, where do those funds go?
They're coming right out of the general fund. The city-
No, I'm talking about that the family pays to the cemetery. Where those funds go?
They now go to, the management group that handles digging and the graves and putting it, back together and so forth.
Okay, so the city don't recruit any of that?
Not at this point. That's a problem.
So that's why I asked, because you saying that basically the city is taking care of the cemetery, so that's why I asked, where are the funds going that the people pay to the cemetery when they, do their business? So where those funds should be self-sufficient, it should go back into the business.
I understand.
But as of right now, when the emergency management came in, the equipment was sold, and C Management does all the graves and everything, handles all of the business. So in other words, the city of Benton Harbor is not, does not get any of that money as of right now. So, and that's what we
paying
push.
another company to do the job that once Crystal Springs did.
So that's all of their workers, all their manpower, all their equipment. So that's what we're trying to move back
Get
to.
away from.
Yes.
And I think in fairness to add to that, in the period probably before that change took place, there were some challenges in the previous administration of the cemetery before that resulted in poor record keeping and other kinds of issues and things that all of it now has kind of come home to roost. And the city's position is we're gonna do everything and anything we can to try to help support what you're trying to do. We appreciate you and the role that you're playing. But as I said, it's gonna take a little time because all of it requires money, and that's what we don't have.
Okay, any more, excuse me, any more comments from the board as we closing out? Okay, I'll call this meeting at 1:40 PM. Meeting is adjourned.